First, pick a right vertical, guys. You need to make sure you pick the right vertical. I made an hour long video on this, so make sure you do that. Right, it ranks them from the tippity top of the goat to the absolutely ones that you want to avoid, like the black plague. So please pick the right vertical. Once you've done that, right, you want to make sure that your company, if they're over 10 million in revenue, usually they have specific people dedicated to this job. So you have affiliate managers, development managers, growth operations leaders. They have like a bunch of weird corporate names, but you want to be looking at everybody that is associated specifically with marketing or business development department. And you can also be reaching out to other people within the business if you have time. If you want to be sure, just reach out to everybody, right? And somebody's going to refer you to the right person. That's happened a lot of times as well, right? Reached out to the wrong email, but basically she referred me to like the person actually in charge in this in the corporation, because like a corporate business has a lot of different functions, right? And the email on Apollo, right, or on any scraping tool might not be the one that is actually the person doing this stuff. Under 10 million, you can directly reach out to the founder or people in the marketing department as well as business development. Once you've had the list, scrape the list with Apollo or any other of these tools, they're all quite similar. Ocean.io is pretty good, specifically because you can also build lookalike lists, right? So you paste one person in LinkedIn profile, it's gonna drop you 10 other relevant ones. Um, Cold email, right? Be as personalized as you can because you're trying to reach specific, very, very specific targeted people of companies. Mass emails never worked for me, honestly. I mean, I'm terrible at instantly and cold email, right? But also because just like being hyper personalized, talking to one person, talking about conversion data, how many leads you've produced, also bullshit a bit, right, in the beginning to get your first customers. Send in your winning creatives as well as funnel. CTA to a meeting or a question, right? Like how much volume are you looking for? What kind of traffic? Try to start a conversation, and if they're actually looking, they're going to respond to you, or if that's the person who's actually doing the job, right? LinkedIn, you can basically automate the whole process, connect to like a bunch of people. With the premium account, you can connect to 30 profiles at once. I've never had much success with it, but that doesn't mean you can obviously give it a try, right? I always like connected with one message like, are you looking to buy more leads, right? We basically did this amount of leads last year and it converted at this rate. So if you talk about data and conversion rate, you establish yourself as somebody who's not a complete idiot, and basically people will have a reason to look at you if they're interested. Now Instagram DMs work the best in my opinion, right? Because they don't get a lot of like spam. On LinkedIn cold email, they get spam like 100 times a day, these affiliate managers, right? So they're tired of it. You would also be tired of it if you were in their shoes. Instagram DMs, find the company page, find the founder's personal page or the marketing manager's personal page. That makes a huge difference, right? Because they're usually only friends and people they know talk to them there. But obviously, if it's personal, you can't do shit. But if it's public, go DM them, send them a voice note, right? You can also send them a video message if you have the balls for that. What's also really good is going to like a company's website, and if they have like a live chatbot, you can spam it until a real human responds, so you can get the like appropriate data like email, LinkedIn, phone number of the marketing manager or person responsible for doing lead gen partnerships, right? Paid ads work best. Google, YouTube, Meta. I mean, if you're spending $100 to get a meeting and you close one in five, your customer acquisition cost is 500. That's in the best case scenario, by the way. Usually it's a bit more than that. Then you could get like a corporate client who's gonna be value like have like a six-figure value for you per lifetime. So it makes the most sense because it's also the fastest to book meetings, right? Paid ads. But if you don't have the budget, really fucking grind through this phase. It took me like 6 months to get my first client last year, and that was last year in June. And specifically, it was a grind for sure. I did like a lot of cold calls and stuff like that. I was not even pay per lead. It was like a local business, and I switched from local business to corporate because they're just a pain to work with. And paid ads are really, really good, right? If you have the basically the skills for it. So always learn this. It's like not even a negotiable. I made a bunch of videos about that as well. Because if you learn how to acquire customers for $1,000 and you profit with them over six figures, that's 100x return on investment, obviously over the lifetime, right? So that might be like 2 3 years or 4 years or even longer than that in the best case scenario. Now, test everything, right? You need to be testing everything. If something works, you've been doing it for a long time, don't just continue doing it. I've made this mistake because I'm a complete idiot when it comes to cold outreach. I was just hammering the same line over and over again and never worked. um, but always be talking, like the general tip is always be talking in social proof, data, conversion, cost per acquisition. I made a bunch of videos about that, right? On how to close and like reverse engineer the price, stuff like that. If you talk about data, right, and statistics, people respect you and you'll be able to close them. Now, once you book the meeting, right, you want to be tracking how many meetings you booked and how many you closed. You want to like bullshit a bit if it's your first time, just like say you're working with their biggest competitors or something, or just show like, if you have proof, show as much proof as you can. If you don't, show winning creatives, or do you think like create some creatives or funnels and show them on the call. All of that shows you know what the fuck you're doing about, and they can trust you with their money. And frame the return on investment, right? So always talk into how much they should be spending to acquire an additional customer with your leads. And yeah, collect data and scale. I got Instagram, Telegram. If you need one-on-one support, DM me, and I drop this on the Miro board as well.